Real estate investors, these are your expectations and this is reality. Stay tuned, it's gonna be a funny one. Promise you, it'll be worth it. Good day, Toronto. Welcome to another episode of Prime Properties TV. So glad you could join me here today. I'm gonna talk about expectations versus reality when it comes to real estate investing. I like to be very transparent with my clients and under-promise and over-deliver. However, sometimes poo-poo just hits the fan and you have to deal with it. Nothing you can do about it. Now, the journey to creating wealth isn't going to be easy despite having our team to guide you step by step through the entire process and hold your hand. But there's definitely some differences between what you're going to expect and what reality actually is. And I find this is probably the case with most first-time investors, specifically first-time investors, because you don't know what's going on. Let me give you a very easy example. You don't actually get calls for a clogged toilet at 2 a.m. At least not in my experience, right? I honestly don't even know where that concern came from or originated and how and why it's gotten so popular. But when I first got started with real estate investing, I thought, oh my God, this is going to be my demise. So I created systems around it and always had two emergency plumbers on hand. Then I always tell my tenants, look, if the toilet clogs in the middle of the night, call this number or this one. It's been over a decade and my system still hasn't been used once. I've had to call emergency plumbers for like leaky hot water tanks or one sewer backup, but zero clogged toilets in the middle of the night. So where did they come from? I don't really know, right? But that's just an example, right? So if this is the type of real estate content you enjoy, make sure you help us spread the knowledge by smashing that like button and subscribing to the Prime Properties channel. Every week I talk about real estate content that matters the most to you, and we have these real talks because we want to be transparent and honest. And by doing this, we hope that whenever you're ready to make a real estate move, you'll be like, oh, Zen, that guy was awesome on YouTube. And you'll think of us and schedule a call using the link right here to strategize your future. Now back to what I was saying. This is what I always tell my first-time investor clients. Your first investment in property with us is going to be like a roller coaster ride. And it's my job to flatten these ups and downs for you because the highs are emotionally awesome. But the lows are emotionally exhausting and frustrating. This is always what happens, without a doubt, always. This is you right now thinking about real estate. Yay! And after speaking with me, you're gonna be so excited about the possibilities of where real estate could take you, what investing will do for you financially and your family, your future, creating wealth, and all that jazz. And once we start looking for properties, when you're up here, you're gonna be starting seeing how exhausting it can be and getting beat out in multiple offers, and you're gonna start feeling crappy and at the end of the ride. And this is where you're like, and eventually you're gonna muster enough fortitude to not give up and find that first investment property. And you'll be excited and you'll be like, yay, I got one under contract, woo! And you're right back at the top. And when it comes to closing day or come close to it, you're gonna freak out about how much money you have to muster and come out with and wonder, why on earth did you ever do this? Was it a mistake? Am I gonna end up broke? Oh, and right back to the bottom. However, once you close that property and you end up with the keys and you walk into your property and you own it, you're like, yeah, this is amazing, my first investment property ever, woohoo, right back up. Then you're gonna look at your monthly mortgage payment on this and be like, oh my God, I'm freaking out because you have no tenants covering your costs and you're making zero cash flow. Right back to the bottom. Or, you know, if you listen to me and you bought the right property in the right area and got the right tenants, we would have filled it for you already because right property, right area. And you can skip all this stuff together. But in case you don't, once you are right back at the bottom. But once you find your first tenant and you collect first and last month, you're like, yay, awesome. And sometimes you can get more because of the market we're in right now. Right back to the top and life is awesome. You think you've conquered the world. I remember collecting my first and last month's rent. It was an amazing feeling. You're like, woohoo, I've done this. Then eventually, sometime down the road, it could be 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, or even 1 year. Your tenant will call you about something and you're gonna freak out. Now, what this something is could be anything. And I've seen a ton of somethings, and every year I'm always surprised by this something occasionally from my clients call me. It could be a leak, no AC, something doesn't work, or they're just asking you about painting a wall. It could be anything. One of the best ones I had is tenants showing me their landscaping. It's like, ooh, pretty flowers, right? So when you see that phone call from them, your heart's gonna be like, bleh, and right back to the bottom of the roller coaster ride. And you'll end up calling me for something, you end up calling me for that something to deal with it. And once you've dealt with it, with that problem, bam, that's it. You've completed the emotional roller coaster of being a first-time investor. The tenants may call you again at some point, but once you've dealt with enough of these kind of tenant calls, it's fairly simple most of the time, right? Like there's nothing to freak out about, but people blow it out of proportion because they think it's like, ah, right? And that's the first time investor roller coaster ride. It is my job to compress all of these peaks and drops and guide you through all the way to the end, because I've seen people drop out halfway through because they can't handle it. And when you can't handle it, you're gonna miss the pot of gold at the end of this ride. I find most clients who tackle the problems head on and just kind of do what you need to do, good or bad, and just realize it comes with owning investment properties, they generally are the ones that become the most successful. Look, here's some solid advice for you. Problems don't go away when you have money. You just get better with dealing with problems. And that's very, very good advice for you. And eventually when you have enough money, you can just use money to make the problems go away, right? So investment property, you call a professional to fix something, you're like, cool, here's my guy, he'll come, right? That's it. So if you're ready to take this ridiculous emotional roller coaster ride with me, you can book your strategy call with me using the link on the screen right here. It's www.chatwithzen.com. Now, I will say, although you can deal with someone of the weirdest and worst situations out there, the reward at the end of this ride is really equivalent to a pot of gold. It's pretty awesome. Think about this. If your roller coaster ride takes you 20 hours per property each year that you initially bought, but you end up with $100,000 in net worth gained each year perpetually, is dealing with the shenanigans worth it? I'll let you decide. Until next time, your move, your future. See ya. Now that you're done watching this one, how about this one? Oh, you know what? This one's good too. Ooh, this one's really good. You know what? Just watch them both.